Fisherman Peter Maki says, Salt Strong raises the bar again. This is unparalleled in the fishing and boating world. I appreciate all the work invested in this Smart Fishing Spots app. Angler Neil Haygood says, thanks for what looks to be an awesome Swiss Army knife of fishing apps. Guys, Joe Simons here with Salt Strong. If you haven't checked out the Smart Fishing Spots app and software, what the heck are you waiting on? This is next level. It is the all-in-one app, has everything from radar and sonar and tides and wind and weather and this underwater 3D charts. It is absolutely amazing for tracking all of your trips and predicting the best time and tide and time of day to go out there and catch inshore slams. It is all there in the Smart Fishing Spots app. And the best news is it's completely for free for our insider members. So if you've been on the fence, I hope this is what takes you over the edge. Come join us. It's saltstrong.com. You'll see a button to join us. For you current members, thank you guys so much. We have a whole lot more coming. Here's the episode.
It's fishing, it's in my soul.
Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way.
And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing.
Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
All right, we are out here wade fishing with Wader Dave. Just got a micro trout. We've already had a handful on. That little guy, beautiful though. Wader Dave Luke is, he's with us, but he dunked his microphone already, so he might not have any audio.
Definitely don't.
So Wader Dave, welcome back, brother. We're live here, wade fishing, Tampa Bay. And tell us about what are we doing here today? Where the heck are we without giving GPS coordinates?
Well, we're in the south end of Tampa Bay and not too far from the Skyway Bridge. But we've got an area here that I've been fishing for probably 30 years. And one of the reasons I like it, it holds fish pretty much year round because it's got such a diversified habitat here. There's all kinds of structure, and the structure here isn't the obvious boulders and rocks or trees, things like that. It's a little more subtle, but you've got a real expansive flat here that a portion of which is very shallow, all sand, that then drops into some grassy flats. And the reason these are great flats is they're a mixture of sand and grass. Look at the slam shady go.
Oh, popped off.
But these flats are really ideal, at least in my opinion, because they're a mixture of sand and grass. And you got some great potholes in the middle of the grassy areas. You got some sandy areas that got some grass in the middle of them. But it'll hold trout throughout the year, redfish, snook throughout the warmer periods. And you've got deep water surrounding it. So you've got escape route for all these fish. Typically there's a lot of mullet, a lot of bait in here for that reason. And then also you've got great, usually you've got good water movement in here because you're pretty close to the main channel of Tampa Bay coming in under the Skyway here. So good flow coming in and out. So again, pretty much all the things you're looking for. But in the wintertime, you can fish near the deeper areas, near the drop-offs and the channels and things like that, which will hold the fish. There's a few areas that there's some hidden ponds that you can get back into. They got mud bottom that are deep, and in some of the coldest days, we'll have snook just stacked up inside of them. And then most of the spring, summer, and fall, I'm just fishing these flats. So the flats, channel edges, and then on higher water, I'll move up to this long shoreline that's lined with mangroves. And typically up there, I'll find reds and snook.
So this is more of your trout bar here, this grass flat?
Yeah, well this is, primarily this area here is where I get most of the trout. It's just a little bit deeper here. We're kind of it's kind of a stair step. You have that really shallow sand flat that's really expansive. It then goes into kind of maybe a 2 foot to 3 foot grassy, nice grass flat. And then there's another step or it drops down into about 4 to 5 feet of grass. And so you can wade all the way through kind of the second step and then cast into the last. And then what I'll do is I'll just kind of work either left or right. In this case, either I guess, north or south along that edge until I either get to the deep channel in the bar, and if we've got some current moving there, the fish will stack up right at the edge of that bar, and there's a point, and then work my way back towards the mangroves as we get into higher water, and that's when those fish will tend to move up towards the mangroves. But yeah, this is kind of the spot I get to, and then just wade up and down it.
I'm basically on my tippy toes here without getting my mic wet.
What's that?
I'm on my tippy toes without getting my mic wet.
So we can just keep going left from here for a little bit.
So left is going to be a shallower shelf?
Yeah, it'll stay just like this.
Okay. We got Luke over there causing havoc. So Luke was actually fighting a fish, got a nice trout in, and his back rod knocked over the mic, and it just went all the way down. Definitely not the first mic that we've dunked.
Well, I may have to make the switch to Slam Shady here. I'm getting a bunch of bumps and hits, but can't seem to get one hooked.
We already got a snook earlier.
Couple of snook.
Saw red. And I'm just fishing the Slam Shady 2.0, my confidence lure, on one of these Haas Helix, which is that wide gap hook that we made with Owner, but it's under the Haas brand, but still has that Owner twist lock on it. I love that thing. 1/8 ounce. Woo-hoo. Joel, I am getting close to the water's edge, buddy.
So keep going left if they're getting too deep. Then don't go out any further.
So what's the plan next? We're
gonna fish it, then we'll kind of come back through here, and then we'll try down the. Because again, I'd prefer to get more water along those mangroves before we fish it.
Cool. Well, I'll tell you what didn't
These
work.
aren't mangroves that go way back under. You know,
yep.
They're fairly shallow along the edge, so you need to get a bit of water in there to.
So what's the tide doing right now? Waiter Dave, what's the tide doing?
Pardon me?
What's the tide doing right now?
It's incoming, but we have a pretty weak incoming tide today. In fact, some of the charts are showing this as kind of just a 2-tide day, but we've got a high that'll peak out at around 9:30, 9:45, and then just a really weak outgoing tide. Not even about 6 inches difference between the high and the low, so it's not a great tide day. But we're still out here, you know, this is when we could go, right?
Yep.
So we're just trying to find the spots where we have the best chance of catching them under the circumstances.
And we do all this before work. Of course, got here right at 6 o'clock on the dot, and sun is now up. Took a little while to walk out here, but absolutely beautiful day.
Yeah.
Oh, Luke's on.
Here we go.
With a nice trout.
I'll tell you, it's just nice to see the trout out here because this was a very tough winter for the trout, and you've got to believe it had something to do with the red tide.
Oh, absolutely.
But they finally started coming back kind of in the spring here, and the trout bites remained pretty good.
So what didn't work this morning was topwater. For whatever reason.
You know, I don't think the fish are incredibly aggressive right now. We don't see a ton of bait in here, so it doesn't surprise me too much.
So how do you pick your weight fishing spots? That's the question everyone always wants to know. Like why this?
You know, a lot of it's just from driving by all these spots. You know, we're fortunate here in the Tampa. Look at him, he's on
Look
it.
at Luke.
Okay, I'm going to the Slam Shady. What can I say? So much for the gold digger.
Well, it worked this morning.
The snook liked it, but evidently the trout aren't as excited about it. But typically my spots are just, I have found from over the years, just driving around the area. Like I said, we're fortunate in the Tampa Bay area to have so much water and so many points to access it.
Yep.
That just driving around you'll find spots. But the real, you know, the game changer, quite honestly, was Google Earth.
Yeah.
and it allows you basically just sitting in your living room with your iPad or your laptop, whatever, just searching for areas that have the things that we all want to look for, right? So a combination of structure where you're likely to have some good tidal or current flow. And most importantly, when you're wading, is that you have access points, right? So you can get in and out. But the only thing that you can't know for sure when you're looking at Google Earth is what the bottom is like. And so there's some areas that, you think or expect are sand or firm bottom, and you might get out there and realize that it's really muddy and soft. So you got to be careful with that. But for the most part, you got a pretty good idea.
All right, I'm going to shift my mic. It's been making me so nervous, especially after what Luke did. Now Joel's getting nervous watching me do this. Already won. What do you think, Joel? It'll work? Oh, it makes me feel so much better. I've been so hesitant about going any deeper because this mic was on the edge. Now I feel good. Well, you know what? I'm gonna put it over here. That's the bad news, folks, is if you're wade fishing and trying to film, sometimes it can be tough. Electronics and
So
salt
Luke,
water.
what size leader do you have on there? 15? Whoa.
Really?
And that might be one of the reasons why you're getting more. I've got 30 on here because of the snook.
Now that's
And
interesting,
that could be making a difference right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting hits, but definitely not getting them like Luke is.
What's
what
that,
about
Luke?
you, Joe? What do you have on?
I have 20 mono,
Okay.
but yeah, Luke is getting more strikes.
Unless you guys repeated what I said, nobody heard it.
Of course, he is in the lead as well.
It's a good point. Luke's got the best spot. So in case you couldn't hear what Luke said, he is using 15-pound mono for his leader and 5-pound. Sorry. Cords in the water. Everything's falling apart over here. And 5-pound braid.
Yeah.
I don't even own any 5-pound braid.
Yeah, I've got 8-pound braid on here with the 30-pound mono leader. And I start with 30 out here primarily because I get a lot of snook in here.
Yep.
And I don't know whether it's fair to the trout or not, but I'm willing to sacrifice a few trout in order to land that nice snook that I might
I'm with you.
I might hook.
I'm with you. All right, well, I'm feeling better.
What's
I
that?
was getting so nervous about this mic dunking.
Okay.
Feeling better. So you were in Texas recently too, right?
Yeah, I was there, I guess it was March, and visited Wyatt, and we had a chance to fish for a couple days, had a great time. Actually went out one day into Baffin Bay with Wesley Hall,
Oh yeah.
who was a lifer who was kind enough to get us out there, but I couldn't have picked a worse week for weather, other than the cold weather, the rain, and the high winds. It was perfect. But we managed to catch a lot of fish and work through it. So it was really actually a lot of fun and a great trip.
That's
People
awesome.
in Texas are wade crazy, which is why I love it there.
Oh yeah, that's next level. I'm gonna make a couple casts out here behind us. We still got grass here behind us, right? I guess we're not supposed
If you
to be.
back up a little bit, this should kind of this way.
Yeah.
Want me to lead
Yeah, go for it.
so you don't,
Dunk any deeper.
yeah. If you
So-
back up here a little bit.
What do you see
Big old ray right there.
besides people not moving fast enough
Well, it's not even that they're not moving fast. They're just not moving at all.
at all?
Right? You don't have to move fast, but as I tell folks, I said, learn how to move while you're casting, right? I see so many guys that they got to stop the cast, right? Take a cast or two, then they move down, which is one way to do it.
Yeah.
But an even better way, in my opinion, is just if you just kind of keep casting and see, I'm just slowly moving while I'm casting, right? Oop. And that way, you continue to move, cover ground. And so the more water you cover, obviously the more casts you take, the better the chances are you're going to get in front of some fish.
Yep.
And then if I get a hit, then I'll stop and slow it down. Or if I catch a fish, and then I'll stop and take 3, 4, maybe 10 casts until I'm pretty sure that there aren't any more fish in that area. But covering water will definitely help you catch more fish.
Look at Luke, that son of a gun. Of course, he is up there in front. He's got no pressure on. Not part of the podcast.
Is that our excuse?
Not part of the podcast anymore. Well, there is an advantage of being the lead guy.
No, there definitely is.
Just like being in the front of the boat. Sometimes the guy in the back catches the most.
I mean, I'm getting a lot of bumps on this thing.
I am too. Just
I'm not getting the commitment that he is. I think that leader could be making a difference.
I feel like I'm getting small little hits. Joel, how's it going, dude? It makes our camera guy so nervous. And he's like, all we have to do is just do this without dropping any of the equipment before we even hit record. Bad news is that set about $600 or so. Are these? How much do these things cost? Well, can you buy a separate receiver part? Yeah. Okay. Brutal. So what else, Dave? What else are you having to coach people on?
It's a lot of different things. So, I get it. First of all, I would say that most of my clients are as or more interested in learning than they are even catching fish initially, right?
Yeah.
So I get a lot of folks that may be experienced boat fishermen or fly fishermen or freshwater fishermen who want to learn how to fish saltwater and specifically learn how to wade. So a lot of it's just, simple stuff, not only sharing what type of equipment, right? And, as I tell people, hey, if you're only going to get one outfit to wade fish the flats in this area, I suggest a 7.6 medium fast action rod.
Yep.
A 2500 or 3000 series reel. 10 or 8 pound test braid. And then, typically I'm carrying either 20 or 30 pound mono leader with me.
Yep.
But that outfit will handle anything you're going to catch out here. I mean, from 6-inch trout to the occasional 40-inch snook or redfish you may catch out here.
And you had a big cobia.
Yeah, no, big cobia, a little, but again, anything. But that'll handle anything that you're going to encounter out here. And it's not, you said, it's not too heavy for some of the smaller fish, and it's stout enough to handle the bigger stuff. I do suggest, though, that you get at least a medium, and depending upon the rod manufacturer, maybe even a medium heavy, because if you're going to fish any weedless rig, weighted twist lock hooks and the like,
yep,
you need a little bit of backbone to set that hook sometimes. And if you have a medium light or a rod that doesn't have enough backbone to it, you can't set that hook and you'll end up losing some fish. But that's the outfit. And then, I'm typically walking out here with, just a handful of, whoa, look, see that one found right there?
Yeah.
A handful of jigs, weighted twist lock hooks, and 3 or 4 bags of soft plastics. So there's something interesting right behind us, guys. I'm thinking that's a manatee or an 8-foot bull shark. I'm not sure which, but I think that's probably a manatee.
Cast over its back and see if there's any cobia on it. Well, it's coming our way, so we're about to find out.
Oh, I haven't seen them pop up yet.
Camera guy's gonna get eaten first. There it is.
Honestly, though, that's part of the reason I love to wade fish.
That's got to be a manatee right there.
Yeah, I mean, I see manatees out here all the time. I've been bumped by manatees. I can't tell you how many times.
That's pretty cool. Joel's right next to you.
Yep.
See him? Oh, there he goes. Make sure I don't snag a manatee. It went right over him. Luke's got a manatee coming her way.
But that's exactly one of the things that people ask, well, why do you like wading so much? But to me, that's one of the things I like about it, because you're really kind of stealthy and low impact. The things that you'll see and encounter out here are
Look,
amazing.
it's going right at Luke. Ever been like spooked one where it?
Well, I've actually had them bump into me. Believe it or not, yeah.
Those things are so powerful. It happened to Tony recently in the kayak. Oh, there you go. Is that a ladyfish?
Well, there's a ladyfish. Acrobat. Whoa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ladyfish, the poopas. So what's your go-to for summertime?
Well, I really, I fish more jig heads than I do weighted twist locks.
Why's that?
And so, probably more often than not, you'll see me using an 1/8 ounce jig head.
Yep.
Rigged with either a...
There's a hole right there.
Probably no surprise to anybody that's watching my stuff, as a Mirror Little John.
Yeah.
And watermelon red glitter. I really like the bomber in Slam Shady. Although I like to put a little bit heavier jig head on that thing to keep it closer to the bottom. And then I've fallen in love with the power prawn. I hadn't been a big artificial shrimp guy.
The junior or the senior?
I like them both. I actually find myself using the junior a little more often because I'm fishing light jig heads a lot of times.
Yep.
And a smaller hook. But I like them. I like them both, and it depends again what if I'm fishing a little bit deeper, I'll go with a 1/4 ounce jig head and the regular power prawn. And if I'm fishing shallower, a lot of times I'm going to go with an 1/8 ounce jig head and the power prawn junior.
So in areas like this where it's a couple feet deep, why do you like the jig head over the like a weighted hook?
Well, I really feel like a couple reasons. Number one, especially if you get deeper than 3 feet, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to keep that lure right along the bottom, right?
Yep.
When you're using a weighted. So that's why if I am fishing a twist lock, very often I'm going to have a 1/4 ounce on there, and it pairs great with the bomber, and that way I'm keeping that lure right close to the bottom. But with the bare jig, the other thing I like about it is, I can control the depth, for one, because I do it all the time, but by doing a couple of things. If I'm getting the whole idea is to keep that retrieve as close to the bottom as you can without getting caught up in it, right?
Right.
And so you can keep that.
Look at that old sucker over there, Luke.
You can keep that jig head, above that structure by either increasing the speed of your retrieve or by lifting the rod tip, or both, right?
Yep.
And so, I think a lot of times, I'll be fishing a bare jig head in grass that's, in a foot of water, and people are like, how are you not getting caught up? And I say, well, I just, again, increase the speed of that retrieve typically.
And keep your rod tip up.
Yep, keep the rod tip up. And that usually takes care of it. But what I find is my hookup ratio, quite honestly, the biggest reason is my hookup ratio tends to be better on the bare jig head than it is on the twist lock.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what we're coming to here is this point kind of comes like this, There's a little deeper bowl out here.
Look at that sucker. Luke's going.
Yeah, he's
catching him on
right
both
out there
sides.
kind of on the edge of the channel.
Oh, I just got a nice hit there. Ooh. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's a dinky. Found the trout hole. All right, Slam Shady strikes again. Small guy, but you know what, Joel? We'll take it. Hold on, little buddy.
So look, you're right there about the channel edge.
The secret is you're wade fishing. Don't reel it all the way up to the top. Otherwise, you're sitting there doing this, and it's very likely your reel could take a dunk. The trick is, oh, Waiter Dave's on. To keep enough line out where you can put this underneath your armpit. All right, watch.
Little guy.
We're tripling up. This is where we might slow down and fish this area. So Dave, what's your tip on actually handling the fish while waiting to make sure you don't drop any of your equipment?
Yeah, so you know, like I said, I get a lot of people who are new to wade fishing and kind of think they have it all figured out, and then they actually catch a fish and they're reeling it in. All of a sudden they realize, you know, how do I handle the fish? And so the first instinct is that everybody wants to reel that fish in right to their rod tip. Well, that makes it pretty tough to unhook the fish. Also, good way to break one of your rods. So the key really is to reel that fish in just close enough so that when you lift the rod tip straight up, that you can grab the line, the fish is still in the water, and then you just put that rod under your armpit and then control the fish with the line.
Look at Luke back here. Just slaying them. So what's behind us? Is like two flats where they meet, or what's happening?
What's that?
What's back here? Just more,
so he's
more grass?
right on the channel edge there.
Okay.
And so that's what I was saying. So a lot of times these fish will hang right on that channel edge because right now that's probably where the most current flow is.
Yep.
Right around that edge.
Cast I've had his.
All right, Luke's had 5 in a row. I'm going over there, Dave.
And we're also real close to the point. So this edge actually ends kind of right here.
Got it.
And so you got a point, you got deep water all around us.
Whoa, that's a big boy stingray. Oh, I'm glad I'm not stepping on him.
So stay to the left there because you can see where I'm on the deep edge of that point right here.
Yep. Big old stingray right here, Joel.
Whoa.
Well, Waiter Dave's trying to hit me.
I tried.
All right, always do the stingray shuffle.
So this is a spot that you can sit out here most of the day and probably pick up fish almost all day long, as long as that water's moving one way or the other.
Do you have a main preference on incoming or
not
outgoing?
necessarily, just as long as it's moving. I
Yeah.
would say in the summertime I prefer incoming, that bringing in just a little bit cooler, more oxygenated water onto some of these flats that during the summer just start boiling, right?
Yep.
And so I like the incoming. Wintertime, you know, it might be the opposite because what happens is those flats warm up throughout the day, and as that tide starts to go out, that's the warmest water out there, and so those fish will kind of follow that water out to the edges, and so you can kind of focus on the edges. But primarily you just want moving water.
Yep.
And generally speaking, the bigger the tide differential between the high and the low,
Oh, I just got puffered.
the better it is.
Just got puffered. All right. Now with this microphone, I'm going to borrow one from Luke so I don't have to take this bag off. You got a slam shade I can borrow?
I don't think so.
2.0?
Fresh out. Yeah, I got that.
Normally I'd risk taking my bag off. Joel, can you still hear me? Sweet.
Got one in the big bag.
All right. Luke's on again. Another trout.
It's a bigger this time.
Oh, that's a nice trout,
He's
dude.
killing it. That's a little better one.
Luke still uses the same JanSport bag from high school.
High school.
Oh, I see that. Oh, watch out, trout. Where do you keep your slam shadies? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I see it. 100 pack, baby. You guys haven't picked up your 100 pack. Awesome way to say moolah. We're coming out, or maybe by the time you guys hear this, it should be any day, coming out with 100 packs of power prawn, Dave.
Was that right?
Yeah, it's been a big request. Because you know, like a lot of the cost, and some people who've been in manufacturing or selling stuff know this, others don't. I did not know how much just packaging cost, but with all the supply chain issues and just inflation, the packaging costs, like those clamshells,
Yeah.
it's crazy expensive. I mean, and it makes sense. Just like the most expensive thing in a Coca-Cola is not the liquid, it's the can.
Well, and if you look at it and think about it, it's kind of intuitive almost, right? When you see especially some of the elaborate packaging they have, like for soft plastic even, right? I'm like, it's crazy.
Yep. In the power prawn, you have to have that full clamshell, because we tried it without, and you really have to have that.
Well, so maybe I'm going to say something that I shouldn't be saying to you guys, but I put mine all in a plastic bag because I don't like to carry the clamshells out with me.
Yep.
So I've been mixing colors and sizes all in one plastic bag. I'm not having any issues with them as long as I'm keeping them together, right? I don't put the Brazil in with the USA and all the rest.
Yeah.
But as long as I keep the USA together, and again, I don't know if other people are having that issue, but I haven't had any problems with or having it curl up or anything like that either.
That's really the issue, is not it melting with something else, it's the curling of the tail.
If it gets hot and cools down,
Is that right? I really haven't. Now again, I take my bags and stuff inside, at night and stuff like that, but I haven't had that issue.
And a lot of people
In fact,
won't.
when we're done, let's take my bag out and see what they look like.
Yeah, a lot of people won't have the issue, but there's enough that will. We just wanted to create a better experience, and if you ever do have a power prawn that tail goes a little bit out of whack, put it in that clamshell and put it out in the sun for a little bit, and back to normal form. All right, I got puffered. I'm hoping not to get puffered again back here. What you got there, Dave?
So when you guys get tired of catching small trout, let me know. We can go see if we can find a few snook and some reds. I mean, this area out here is typically where I find the trout.
Yeah.
Occasionally I'll get a red out here, but no. So what we'll do, we kind of have to wade back in towards that shoreline.
Oh, I just lost them.
Where the reds and the snook are going to typically, because we're getting closer to high tide. Those snook are going to move up along that edge where the mangroves are, and then those bowls as well will start to fill in with the snook. And then we get a little bit later on, that's when we have a good chance of finding some of those reds right up on that sand flat.
Cool.
So yeah, we'll just kind of wade our way back.
power prawn ready for action.
Oh, the prawn.
And what you'll see is we get closer and closer to that mangrove shoreline.
1,000 side reel.
Yeah, so let's, oh, there we go.
Well, I think today's a perfect example. I mean, it's obvious that the lighter leader for the trout right now.
You see what Luke's fishing with? He's got 1,000 size reel too.
Yeah. Well, but that's perfect for the trout too, right? It really is.
Well, I'm doing a snook, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Well, and again, that, as I said, I'm starting with 30 out here because I'm willing to sacrifice a few small trout to make sure that if I do hook into a nice snook, that I'm going to have a chance of actually landing it, right?
This is my snook one here. Let's do it. Let's go.
5 pound braid.
Wrap it up.
But so for me, I love to start the morning out here because it gets you on fish.
Yeah.
And again, in this situation too, where I have an incoming tide,
Look at Luke.
this area is good on just about any tide.
We talk about that. A lot of fishing is confidence, and there's something to be said about going out and just catching a bunch of trout or whatever. Right off. Oh, there's one right off the bat. There we go. Just a little honey hole over here.
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of the inside elbow of that little, oh, what is that?
Lady fish and lizard.
Is that a lady or a lizard?
That's a lizard. Come here, you old nasty thing.
So about 2 weeks ago, I was fishing out at Honeymoon Island, hooked a lizard fish, and as I'm reeling it in, it had to have been a 40-inch snook comes up. And I mean, I'm just fast reeling this in. It comes up almost to the shoreline and goes after that. And I didn't even see it till the end. It goes after that lizard fish. Unfortunately, I missed it, but if anybody ever doubted whether snook eat lizard fish, I can attest to the fact that they do.
That would have been an awesome story. All right, well, we're going to head over this way and probably just close it up. What do you think, Dave? Might even try to do another video tip once we get closer to the mangrove line, just so you don't have to...
if we can get a fish on here, we could do I don't know if we got the landing thing done yet or not, but...
Oh, I just saw him fall in a hole. I'm not gonna skip that one. But guys, if you want more on Wader Dave, he's got a whole course with us, Wade Fishing Mastery, which has been a top seller and has all 5-star reviews. And that's found there at saltstream.com in the course section. And of course, Wader Dave's one of our insider members is in there posting as well. And if you want to see a little bit more about where we are here today and future trips with Wader Dave, join the Insider Club. We've made it as easy as possible to go out there and find the feeding zones fast, to be consistent, confident, and always know if you're in a feeding zone or not. That's the main thing that we focus on. Man, making sure I'm not stepping on a stinger here. But you guys, thank you so much. If you have any questions, let us know down below. We'll continue this summer to have more wade fishing tips. And it's been a hot request from wade fishing to surf fishing. People on vacation want to know that they can go out there and catch fish even if they don't have a boat. So stay tuned for more. Appreciate you guys big time. We'll talk to you in the next episode. Peace, we out.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul, it was pain.